So here we are, welcome to the City of Rocks in Southern Idaho. Today we're gonna be talking about your first mountain biking setup. Now, I am new to mountain biking and it took me a lot of time, a lot of research, a lot of talking to some very serious mountain bikers to put all of this together and to start my mountain biking journey. So I am here to save you a little bit of time and tell you what I've found, what it costs, the things you need first, the things you can put off for later. I've had this set up for about 2 months now, and I can tell you I've been riding pretty much every day. So I've been using this equipment a lot. And I want to start today's video off with a little bit of a caveat. This is the equipment that I purchased, that I invested in. I think it's good equipment. Every single time I do one of these videos, people complain about price and all that. I always look for things that are not the most expensive, but obviously not cheap. I want it to last. I want it to be good equipment. I want to like what I'm doing. So this is the equipment I use, but this video is more about like the stuff that you actually need, like a helmet. Maybe you don't want this helmet. I'll tell you why I bought this helmet, but you are gonna need a helmet. So think about that when you're watching this video.
Before we get into the bike, one piece of gear I always have with me is this belt. This is the Adventure Mag belt from Arcade, and I've been running it for a while now. It's super low profile, stretches with you, and it doesn't loosen up throughout the day. It's also micro adjustable, which is something I've come to really appreciate, especially on longer trips when my weight can fluctuate a bit and I want to dial in the fit without messing around with set holes. And one thing I really didn't expect, because it sits tight and moves with you, it doesn't get pushed down into your hips when you've got a pack on. If you've ever had something big and bulky around your waist while moving all day, you know how annoying that gets. This just stays put and kind of disappears once it's on. The magnetic buckle is nice too, super quick to get on and off, and it just feels solid. Arcade teamed up with me on this video. I'll link this one below if you want to check it out. All right, now let's get into the bike.
Obviously, to start your mountain biking journey, the first thing you're gonna need is a mountain bike. This is the bike I purchased. This is the Transition Sentinel. I bought this used. Mountain bikes are expensive, especially the kind of mountain biking we're talking about. These are full suspension, carbon fiber mountain bikes. You can get a cheaper mountain bike in aluminum, but the full suspension mountain bike is what we're looking at today. This is a 2021. I bought it off the internet from the Pros Closet. It cost me $3,000. That's pretty much the price you're gonna pay for one of these. There's a lot of different things to look at when you're looking at a mountain bike, like the travel associated with it. We're not gonna get into too much of the nuance of what you're looking for in a mountain bike. We'll save that for a different video. And let me tell you, the bike usually does not come with pedals. There are two types of pedals you can get. One are just flats. You can also get clip-in pedals. Most of the people that I talk to and what I prefer are the flats. The clips will help you climb mountains a little bit better. You're gonna get, you know, the pull from your pedal motion, but I like to be able to bail off my bike. So you're also gonna need a helmet. This is the helmet that I purchased. This is the Bel Air. Gosh, I have so many Fresh Prince of Bel Air jokes that I wanna go now with. Why I bought this helmet is this is a convertible helmet. So there's two types of helmets you can get, obviously. You can get the full face helmet, or you can get just like a traditional looking helmet. The full face is gonna protect you if you're riding super hard down, you know, rocky terrain and you eat it. You wanna protect the moneymaker. But also these full face helmets can be hot and not super comfortable when you're riding up a mountain or anything. So a lot of people that I talk to have two. I just went ahead and purchased one to start out with, but I purchased one that can convert. You can see you have a full face and a half option here. You can also take this full face with you, so when you're climbing up a mountain, you can have a little bit more cooling aspect to your helmet. And then when you go down, you can slip this right back on and go from there. This ran me about 300 bucks. Probably don't want to skip on the thing that protects your brain either. So 300 bucks to get the 2-in-1 aspect. I thought that was pretty smart. And after that, you can pretty much ride, okay? Like with just those things, a helmet and a bike, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We can ride. So with that covered, let's move the bike and let me show you the next steps for what you're going to be investing in. Okay, so probably after the bike and the helmet and the pedals, you're probably gonna need to transport the bike to somewhere, unless you're riding straight from your house. I have the traditional Dakine truck pad. I also wanted a bike rack for my RV to be able to transport the bikes. I bought a Hollywood rack rated for an RV. If you have a bike rack for an RV, make sure you get an RV rated bike rack. RVs jostle a little bit more and you really want to protect your bikes. You're also going to want to invest in a good lock. This is a kryptonite lock. You never know. It's a really expensive, easy thing for a thief to be able to make money off of. So, all right, so once we have that, we have our bike, we have a way to transport our bike to the trailhead. The next thing I'd look at investing in is your repair kit. Let's call it that. So let's start with our hip pack. Now, this is not something you need to get right away. You probably have like a camel's back or a backpack that you can use, but you'll see a lot of riders wearing these. We don't like, you know, a big heavy backpack that's just super hot when we're climbing up a mountain. So the hip pack is the way to go. These come with a camel's back or a water bladder. You know, I have the this Osprey hip pack, and you can see that these are built for mountain bikes. So your nipple, should we call it that? It is a nipple, attaches to the side of the hip pack. And this is where your repair kit's gonna go. In your repair kit, you're gonna need a couple of things. You're gonna want a plug. Remember how I said these were tubeless? So if you get a hole, you actually plug these now. You don't take the tube totally out and do the whole replacement thing. You just try to plug it with a plug. Real simple little contraption, costs you about 10 bucks. You're gonna need a pump, a small little pump like this to make sure you can pump your tire back up if you get a flat. You're going to want like a multi-tool type thing to be able to make repairs, adjust your seat, adjust your handlebars. Maybe your derailleur needs some work, so a nice little multi-tool that's built for mountain biking. You'll want to get chain lube, okay? This is a dry chain lube. There's a lot of lubes you can get. It depends on the kind of conditions you're gonna be riding your bike in, but for the most part, most people, you're gonna want a dry chain lube. A lot of the people I ride with do carry the lube with them. Their bike will get a little bit grindy, you know, as they go along a long day, and they'll just drop some chain lube down into it to keep it going. Some people don't. I usually leave mine at home, but you're definitely gonna wanna keep the chain lubed up. This doesn't come with you, but you're also going to want a bike cleaner. You're gonna wanna be able to clean your bike. When the bike starts making noise like, that's usually dust. Mountain bikes get dirty, and weirdly, when they get dirty, they don't perform as well, I find. So keeping your bike clean keeps your bike in good condition, it keeps it healthy, it keeps it performing the way you want it to. Next is, yes, an actual tube for your tire. You're like, wait, I thought these were tubeless tires. They are. A lot of people will carry a tube because sometimes the hole that you get in your tire may not be able to be repaired with just a simple plug. And in that case, you're going to need to put a tube in it and fill this up to get you back and get you home. And if you have a spare tube, you're going to need these park tools to be able to get your tire off of your bike. And then finally, throw in some energy, a little snack or something like that. And right there is your repair kit, your hip belt kit, what you take with you on a ride. And I think that's probably the next piece of gear you should invest in, especially if you're riding alone. And if you're riding with friends, you don't want to be that person that's like, oh, I got a flat, somebody help me. Like, your friends will, but it sucks to be that person, right? Okay, that's the next tier, right? We've gotten the bike stuff, we've gotten the repair kit. Now, let's get into your actual attire. First things first, you're gonna want shoes, okay? These are mountain biking shoes. If you're wearing normal like hiking shoes or something like that, trail runners, those are your foot is gonna fold over the pedals, and it's going to just make your feet uncomfortable. On long rides, your feet might hurt. So these are built to be super sturdy and super flat and just not bend, like you could see, not bend around the pedals, okay? You want to be stuck to your pedals. These are the Freerider Pros by 510, now owned by Adidas. They're another, 150 bucks. So shoes are next. This might even be in tier 1, okay? You want some padding for your rear end, okay? You're gonna wanna keep your undercarriage protected, because let me tell you, these bike seats are not comfortable. So some padding, and really those would be the 2 pieces of clothing that I think are in a tier or a thing that you need first on their own. As you can see, I am wearing a mountain biking clothing setup, obviously not the shoes, but I'm wearing the pants and the shirt. I found myself riding with hiking pants, like my REI traditional hiking pants at first. After wrecking once, my hiking pants were absolutely destroyed, right? That road rash, that road burn when you slide across gravel and rock and everything, tears up your hiking pants. Mountain biking clothing, mountain biking pants are designed to take on those crashes. So some mountain biking pants, a nice tight fitting shirt. You can get pants in shorts or in the long form, depending on, what kind of conditions you're riding in. Is it hot? Is it cold? I really just have to ride with gloves. They can get hot, but the padding and the grip and everything, especially the padding. I'm not a very good mountain biker, so I am gripping my handles pretty hard, and I'm, banging my palms against stuff. Also, when I crash, I might be putting my hand down. So the padding in these gloves, I find to be super useful, along with the grip. And then finally, depending on how hard you're charging, how hard you're riding, elbow and knee pads for the more hardcore chargy stuff would be the final piece to the kit. And then let's talk about a little bit of a bonus item here, okay? The new action cam that I am in love with right now is the Insta360 camera. I started with this on the Insta360 bike mount, which I can tell you does not work for mountain biking. We'll see. This is going to take another video of me capturing a lot of mountain biking, and we'll do a whole separate video on that. But definitely, if you're looking into capturing your rides, the Insta360 camera over a GoPro is the way I go. And yeah, this is expensive. All in all, give them the camera, give them the bike racks, give them the clothing, give them the helmet, give them the bike itself. This initial setup cost me about $6,000. Yeah, but that's the price you pay for getting into a new sport. And now that I have all this stuff, this will provide me years and years, a lifetime hobby that I can take with me. And now the cost will not be as steep. Tell me what I missed. Tell me what you think. Tell me what kind of products work for you. There's a list of all this gear down in the description below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.